Pickle! Hit the arrow sign. Yes, y'all. From the Dave Campbell's Texas Football Mothership here in beautiful Lewisville, Texas, it is Texas Football Today, a show that is quite distracted. My name's Greg Tepper. I'm the managing editor of Dave Campbell's Texas Football magazine, TexasFootball.com, a corresponding website. Thank you for spending part of your day with us. Whether you're watching us live, TexasFootball.com, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, all the places, or you're listening to us on the podcast, which you can subscribe to on the podcast vendor of your choice. Either way, thank you for doing your part. Support your local mediocre internet show. I bet you're two-screening us. I'm sitting here. I know I'm two-screening you. I'm sitting over there at the helm today, making us sound good, celebrating the first Hawaiian Shirt Friday of the year.
Yeet.
She's Ashley Pickle.
Let's go. Welcome back, friends.
And sitting to my right is the chief football correspondent for Dave Campbell's Texas Football.
Football.
We're joined by Ishmael Johnson.
Hi.
Hello. You're here because the reason we're two-screening this, and the reason that we are going to be very distracted, is right now the interminably long World Cup draw is on.
Yes.
I would have put like a camera there if we would not have, if we wouldn't get copyrighted, like instantly.
Here's what you need to know right now. It's going on right now. The United States has been drawn into Group B with England, so 1776 homes. You may remember the last time they played in the World Cup.
Yeah.
I believe the headline in the United States was United States defeats England 1-1. Because it was such a calamitous. That was the Rob Green.
That was the Rob Green. I
Former
forgot
QPR great.
I forgot what shot it. I think it was Dempsey's shot or something.
Yeah.
Rob Green hits him right in the gloves, and it bounces off, rolls right into the net, and England settles for a draw in a match that they were the infinitely better team.
Oh, just like giant favorites in that. And so we're finishing things up. Portugal and Uruguay just got drawn. Now Switzerland's going to be drawn in with Brazil, so they are going to be liquefied. So it is Helpful Honda Mailbag Friday, so we're going to be answering your questions about high school football, college football, recruiting, lifestyle, romance, travel, all of those places. We will keep you up to date on what happens in the draw here because this is of interest to us because we are a football magazine.
Mm-hmm.
And so, today is, I guess I should do that. Today's also the worst day of the year.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it is.
Yeah, it is.
We don't acknowledge this day.
Unironically. Yeah.
Today is Friday, April 1st, 2022. It is 237 days until Thanksgiving. Does anybody know somebody's birthdays today? Anybody have a friend who has a birthday? Because I don't have to look it up.
Unfortunate. No, I don't.
Oh, gosh. Okay. Born April 1. Happy birthday to... oh, my God.
Please tell me
Oh, Mackenzie Davis. Oh, Method Man's 51.
Oh,
Happy birthday to a kind of a satellite member of the Wu-Tang Clan.
Sure.
Stuff like that. Okay, so now we're getting into serious business. The United States could be drawn in with whoever this is. Senegal. Pot 3 has just started.
Yep.
A gentleman from Qatar is drawing the name. So who is this? Iran? You want to drop them in Group B? I wouldn't mind it. I really wouldn't mind any of these teams, honestly.
Jeez. If they get Group A,
I mean, I don't want Senegal.
that's a cakewalk for Netherlands.
Yeah.
If they get that.
Yeah, I don't think they're. I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, we are watching the World Cup draw. If you've got questions about high school football, college football, recruiting, lifestyle, romance, travel, the World Cup, let us know in the comments, and we will get to. Oh, Iran goes into Group B.
Oh, I love that. Oh, that is excellent.
Chaos.
Oh, let's go.
Yeah, because they can't go into Group A because Qatar.
That's right, because Cutter's the. Oh,
There you go.
B2, which
Let's
means
go.
So we would not play them first?
no.
We
I
play
think we'll play
4
them.
B4 first?
I think the United States plays B4. I think it goes 1 versus 2 and 3 versus 4 in the first round. It's a round robin. But Iran is an eminently winnable game for the United States.
Yep.
That is an outstanding draw for the United States
Let's
to get
go.
Iran. Yeah. Okay. Anyway.
We're good to go.
Yeah. Everything else is gravy.
Well, you don't know the 4th team yet.
Yeah.
We don't know the 4th team, but
I don't know how good pot 4 is though.
It's
Not
the
good?
worst pot.
Oh, okay.
It's the
That
lowest
makes sense.
ranked pot. And the one team there that scares me, well, one of the teams there that scares me, which is Canada, we can't get drawn with.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So I would prefer not to get Canada.
The Fighting Matt Steps.
Yeah, I would prefer not to get that. But anyway, we'll answer your questions about high school football, college football, recruiting, lifestyle, romance, travel, all those things if you got them in the comments. But first, Pickle, it is Helpful Honda Mailbag Friday.
The North Texas Honda dealers want to help you score some great deals on award-winning Hondas. Stop by your Helpful Honda dealer today or visit ntxhondadealers.com to learn more.
Group A is now going to be drawn. Qatar and the Netherlands going to get... Oh, no. Who is this? Senegal. Ooh, Senegal get thrown in there?
That is a good group for Senegal.
Yeah. They could
come.
They can advance out of that.
They could
We
do
watched
that.
them the other day.
Yeah,
Yes.
they
We
did.
did.
Senegal's
They're-
good.
And they're the African champions. They beat
Mhm.
Egypt in the play. That's
Yes.
the match we saw.
Yeah, we
fun.
watched that.
They're
So,
fun.
yeah.
Anyway, we're watching the World Cup draw, which is why we're a little bit distracted. That's why, once every 4 years, this is a very annoying show. So
We don't have any questions yet, so that's fine.
There you go.
Just
Yeah,
ask
no
questions,
Ask
people.
questions about high school football, college football, recruiting, lifestyle, romance,
Football.
travel. Okay. Quick thoughts. So far, we know 3 of the 4 teams in the United States is a group in Group B. England, Iran, and the United States.
Mhm.
I would say right now, this is not a perfect group,
Sure.
but I think of the United States, if you got told you could have these as the first 2 opponents, I think
Yeah.
you take this.
Oh, 100%. I completely agree. Especially compared to the 2014, where it was U.S., Germany, Portugal, and
Yes.
Ghana.
That was
a group of death.
because I remember, very distinctly that coming out of there and be like, that's the group of death. That's the one you don't want.
Somehow they made it out of that.
God, Mexico's getting such a they get Poland and Argentina.
Yeah, that's actually a pretty favorable group. So.
Stupid Mexico. Anyway, I don't really have anything else to talk about because we've got so we're doing.
Well, I have
Yeah,
here.
if you got questions,
I have a
get them
question
in.
that
Oh,
is
yeah.
from me.
This is your
Sure.
first,
I am
this is
question.
your first World Cup draw.
I am question.
What is the most memorable World Cup memory that you have?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Well, duh. I ask questions for a living. This is what I do around these parts.
Go ahead. Go first.
So I guess it was 20. They weren't in the 2018 World Cup, so 2014.
Yeah.
The opening game against Ghana.
Mm-hmm.
They were. Well, I mean, there's obviously the Algeria goal, like Landon Donovan scoring at the death to get them through out of the group stage.
Mm-hmm.
That was obviously amazing. But like, the thing about that 2010 World Cup is they beat Algeria like that, and I couldn't help but feel like they super underachieved like that entire time. Like, oh god, like they squeaked through,
right.
And so I have a bad taste in my mouth about that. But like, obviously that's an amazing memory. Clint Dempsey scoring in the first minute against Ghana. Was like I was at a bar.
Yeah.
Because that was where was that World Cup?
That was in 2014.
Yeah,
Brazil.
it was Brazil.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a Saturday, and it was at like 2 o'clock,
Was
1
that-
o'clock, 2 o'clock. It was like an afternoon.
There was a lot of day games.
It was
Was
like
that the Shakira year? Where Waka Waka was the song?
That was 2014.
the two. So two. It was about,
That's how I
2 o'clock.
identify.
We got to the bar about 1 o'clock and started hydrating,
Yeah.
and then like. You're getting like the thing about the World Cup is like now we're going to be thinking about this for 6 months because by the way it's in the winter.
Yeah, I had no idea.
Yeah.
Because FIFA's really smart and they gave Qatar the World Cup, and by the way, it's like 120 degrees in the summer, so they can't host it in the summer unless they want people dying.
Super cool.
Yeah. Not corrupt at all, by the way.
And yeah, by the way,
they just gave it to Qatar.
Yeah, by the way,
just 'cause.
yeah, it's not corrupt in the
Correct.
least. Everything's going great with FIFA. FIFA makes NCAA look like this like paragon of virtue.
The Holy Grail.
So yeah, but so then like so I guess the United States is going to open against whoever gets drawn in this fourth thing. So whoever it is, that's who they're going to open about.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to spend 6 months thinking about it.
Yep.
And it's going to be built up.
Overthinking, yep.
Same thing with Ghana, because the thing about it, Ghana had been such a thorn in the United States' side. Like, they just owned the United States.
Mm-hmm.
And all your things like, oh, God, we're in the group of death. And this is like, especially knowing you have to play Germany and you have to play Portugal.
Yeah.
Even though Portugal was probably, they were underachievers at that point, too. Knowing full well that you were going to have to do that, you were like, oh, my God, we have to get at least a point and probably 3 from Ghana.
Right.
And you're just dreading it, right? And then to score in the opening minute after a couple of beverages at that moment, like
Hyped.
that was
Just
that was
hyped.
insane. I was like, my folks were there. My folks were going nuts. My folks don't care about soccer, but they're like, this is fun. I like
Vibes.
patriotism. They were just feeling the vibes. You know what I mean? It was
Nothing
it was
but
an
vibes.
entire vibes-based economy in that bar, and so yeah, that's probably my number one.
It's probably that. I was also in a bar, and we saw, but it wasn't the Dempsey goal. It was the winner, John Brooks. Because we were all nervous because Ghana, of course, equalized after the Dempsey goal.
And by the way, after that first minute, from minute 2 until about minute 80, Ghana was pretty clearly the better team. Like, pretty clearly. The United States were lucky to be tied 1-1 in the 80th
I was
minute.
holding on for dear life.
Yes.
So that one, but I also, my one of my favorites was watching that Landon Donovan goal against Algeria, because I remember it was after orientation, so like my mom was working, so I was just at home by myself, and I just remember like going crazy, like almost knocking over my couch, and, like, because like it was like, I mean, everybody who saw that knows what I'm talking about, like the Ian Dart call, like go USA, like it was.
This is gonna be.
insane.
This is very on brand for me. Do you know where I was watching the Landon Donovan goal?
Where?
I was at a Rangers game.
Of course you were.
I was in the Jose Cuervo club at like keeping an eye on some meaningless June Rangers game.
Right.
At that point, it's like 6-4 against the Angels in the 6th inning, but then like also watching this TV and like. And at that point, like 2010 was probably like the like when soccer really started to take hold in the in the United States, and so like it was like me and like only like 6 other people who were like super amped about it,
Right.
and like this at this game where there's 14,000 people there because it's outside and it's the Rangers. And 2010 they were really good though. 2010 they were they went to the World Series, but that's neither here nor there.
I do have a moment, and it's ironic, I guess, that we ended up in the same group as England, but obviously, like, I haven't, in 2014, the last time the U.S. made it, like, I was still in high school. Soccer was not big in Atlanta. We didn't have a soccer team, so we Like
I don't feel like the Premier League had really taken hold. Like I don't feel like there's a lot of people at that point in 2010 or 2006, whenever it was,
Right.
where like who were big into the Bundesliga in Atlanta.
Yeah,
Right.
I think that was, like,
that just was like
you
we
guys,
just
like, you guys catch Serie A this weekend?
like we
or
had
what's going on?
we had like youth soccer until like 6th grade, and then we didn't have it in junior high, so soccer was not big. So
Okay. Oh god.
um,
Oh god. Not
no,
Ghana.
We'll go over
Not
here for
Ghana.
instant reaction.
Please. Okay. We're in pot 4. So this will be going into Group A, depending on who's in there, who this is. If it's Ghana, then they're going to get sent to Group B because of that. This
Because
is
Senegal's already in.
the IC playoff.
Okay.
Okay, so there's an intercontinental playoff going on that there's 2 spots set aside for 6 teams, 4 teams,
4 teams.
4 teams.
4 teams.
Yeah.
So 2 teams out of 4. The United States, if they had screwed around against Panama, might have been in there. So they're going to go into Group A, I believe.
Yeah.
We're listening without sound, and by the way, this is a super convoluted process. Oh, they get
Group
they get dropped into Group D. Of course they do. I guess that's the first place they can get because it could be CONCACAF, and it could be Africa or at least Oceania or Asia, which is where Qatar
Yes,
is.
Asia.
So it could. So then they'll get dropped in there. So the Group D is set: France, Denmark, Tunisia, and then so France Denmark is tight, but. Those are the qualifiers right now, I think. All right, not Ghana, please. Please not Ghana. Please, I don't want Ghana. We can't get Saudi Arabia either. I think it might end up being Ecuador.
Could be a European plan.
I think
Ecuador.
We can get Ecuador. No,
Oh,
they're going to get dropped into Group A.
They get dropped into Group A now.
I believe they get dropped into Group A.
So then we would be the next one.
And so now they have to draw the bowl here. So this would be let's see.
Who out of this would you most want to have?
Saudi Arabia or
Saudi Arabia.
the play-in.
But
Or
I don't know if
the
we can get
second
Saudi
play-in.
Arabia.
Oh, that's right, because of Iran. Yeah.
I think we're going to get Cameroon now.
Oh, geez.
Cameroon or Ghana.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, Cameroon's not a battle.
Although we could get the European playoff too.
Where is Cameroon located in the world? I do not know.
Cameroon is African nation. So Cameroon,
I thought you
Ghana.
were gonna ask in
I think
Africa.
it's
I don't know
Cameroon.
that
If it's
You what?
Cameroon,
I thought you were gonna ask where in Africa.
Oh, no.
I don't know.
Oh, God.
I don't know exactly.
Good question.
I mean, maybe we want the European playoff here. It's not a bad. It wouldn't be bad if
I
we get
mean,
the European
It
playoff.
could be Wales though. I don't want Wales.
You just don't want Bale.
I don't want to face Gareth Bale.
It's not Ghana. Please, not Ghana. Saudi Arabia. So they got skipped and they go to Group C, I
Go to
think.
Group C, yeah.
Yeah, because we're in there with Iran. So Saudi Arabia is going to be in the Group 4. You're listening to live coverage of us watching the World Cup draw here on this, a show about football. If you got questions about high school football, college football, recruiting, lifestyle, romance, for Helpful Honda Mailbag Friday, you can hop on with us. So they go to Group C, I believe. Right? I have this right. Yeah, I was going to say. Yeah. I guess do you want Cameroon or Ghana? Like Cameroon might be better than Ghana, but I also want. Well, I don't know.
No, I mean,
Ghana's got such bad taste, vibes for me. I'm tired of playing Ghana.
I'd be okay with Cameroon or I'd be okay with the European draw. I might just be overestimating how good Gareth Bale still is, but
Well, but he's all they got. That's the thing. But he is
he's really good.
supremely good. All right.
Who's
Alright.
the other team that would end up in the playoff, or is in the playoff? It's Wales and
Scotland. It's the winner of Scotland, Ukraine versus Wales in that European
Okay.
playoff.
Ukraine's got some things going on right now, if you didn't know.
yeah.
All right, here's the IC playoff. So I think that's who we get.
Yeah.
I think. No. Because I'm sorry, that's the IC playoff, so that could be CONCACAF, so they're not going to throw that in there. I think they get dropped into Group E now? Oh, there's an Asian team in Japan. This is all very confusing, guys. We're trying to figure this out on the fly. It's okay. This is episode 1360. We've done it. Yeah, they get dropped into Group E. So that'll be the
Step
IC
says
playoff.
that Ghana's not near as good as they have been.
Yeah, but
they have
I
Thomas
get
Partey,
it.
Who would
Yeah.
probably be the best player on the
I get it, but the other thing about them that makes me nervous is just the history. And
That's fair.
they love beating our ass.
It's basically
They love
Thomas,
it.
I mean, Thomas Partey is all Ghana has this year.
But
I just worry
it's
about
very
them
much
dominating
like
midfield.
I don't know. It's one of those things. It's like Iowa and Iowa State in the sense that it's always going to be a weird game. It's not going to be fun. You're going to be stressed.
It's
the
an
whole time.
A&M Arkansas.
It's A&M Arkansas. A&M's a lot better, but Arkansas can scream. Please be. I guess be. I don't know. Well, I don't know what I'm rooting for. There's a European playoff. Do we get that? That's the question because England is a European nation, but I
think
know
we get that.
Steps that we get it.
I think we get the European playoff. I think so. So it'll be there. It is.
Yeah.
Okay, so there you go.
Okay, again, that's
Group B is
Scotland. And
Scotland, Ukraine, or Wales.
Wales, okay.
I believe, are the three that are in that. And so there you go. Group B is set. England, Iran, the United States, and the winner of the European playoff. I'm going to be honest. I think I think you can.
It's a great group.
You can screw around and win that group.
It's a great group.
If you play up to your paper, the United States can win that group.
Yep.
I think it would be super disappointing if they didn't get out of the group. I'll say that. It would be super disappointing.
That's a letdown.
If they don't get out of the group. So there you go. Group B is now set for the World Cup. England, Iran, the United States, and the European playoff. And the next one was Cameroon. So, you know what it is? I think the United States just has a bad history of playing poorly against African nations. And so I'm glad there's not one. You know, I'm just glad like Ghana or like think about that Algeria game. Like the United States is so much better than Algeria, but like they just farted around and had to score in the final second to win. Like that's for me. I just have such a bad taste in my mouth. So Canada, let's see what's going on with Canada. Canada's going to get. I don't know. Canada gets drawn into Group F with Croatia, Belgium. Who's MAR? Is that Morocco?
Yes.
Yeah. This is a really, really nice draw, I would say, for the United States. So overall, that's our take on it. Do we have any questions about high school football, college football, recruiting, lifestyle, romance, Hawaiian shirts, anything like that?
Yes.
Okay.
We'll go with this. Should there be a Class 7A in Texas or a metro/rural small metro division for high school football?
So Ghana just got drawn in. Thank God. Stay away from me. So we're talking about things on either end of it, right? So we're talking about, do we have a Class 7A or do we have a class, what is he saying, like a really small school metro area league?
Yeah, I think.
What was the second part of that question?
Oh, man, where did it go? Should there be a Class 7A in Texas or a metro/rural small metro division for high school football? Like,
So,
I think what he's implying here is the issue of like 7A is fine, but it's so spread out.
So that's the issue.
Which is the fundamental issue.
The issue for me, so Ghana gets Portugal, Uruguay, and Korea. That's no fun. Anyway, here's the issue with Class 7A, and I've said it before. Everyone likes the idea, so Canada's going to get Belgium, Croatia, and is that Morocco?
Anyway.
Sorry. I can turn it off now. It's over. The issue with 7A is everyone likes the idea of, well, Allen's got 7,000 kids. Why are they playing a team with 2,400 kids? I agree. I'm with you. I think we need to find a solution for that. But
where are they going to go?
What do you do as far as those mega programs? What do you do with programs with, let's just say, more than 3,000 kids, right? Because if you cut that off, like right there, I'm picking a number at random. If you cut that off, they are so spread out that, like, I think you think, oh, like North Shore is one, and Allen is one. They're all major metro areas. Not so. Like, Odessa Permian is a massive program, right? That's a huge program. There are programs in the Rio Grande Valley that are massive.
And that's also
right?
the issue with, like, capping. Like, it got brought up about, like, capping 6A things. It's like that also, for Allen, that, yes, you could cap it and say, hey, go ahead and build a new school because you've got blah, blah, blah. That gets harder when you get out in those places.
Yes, exactly. So I think that's one of the things that the United States, or that the UIL, I've got it on brand, the UIL wants to remedy, and I think they're talking with coaches about it. One thing I wonder if we will see first, because one thing you could do would be a division split in 6A. Remember, there's no split divisions in 6A. But you kind of run into a similar situation or a similar problem of if you split it and you go 6A Division 1, you're still going to have, it'll be less, it'll be, I think, less of a problem because it'll be a bigger group, but it'll still be a bit of an issue. So how do you remedy that? I think one thing you may look at, and this is going to sound a little bit crazy, keep 6A the way that it is, and then you divide it into Division 1, Division 2, and Division 3 whenever the playoffs roll around. So that you have Division 1, and that is the largest school, okay? Then you have Division 2, and that is the second largest school. And then you have Division 3, which may be the other two largest schools. So what you would do is those things, they would have one fewer round, obviously, because there would be fewer playoff teams. But that's one thing I think the UIL may be thinking about, would be adding in a Division 3, which could relieve some of those issues of the massive school that's so much bigger than every other team in the district, that then they qualify for there, and they end up going and playing some team that's half their size or a third their size. That's one thing to keep an eye on. I'll be honest, I don't love the idea of making it like a metro-rural area thing, because I think that first of all, how do you define that?
Right.
Like, I think some people would say, oh, well, Odessa Permian is a rural school. It's like, are they? Like, Odessa's a big city. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
And everyone has a different opinion on that, because, like, your definition of rural and my definition of rural are very different because of where we grew up. And it's like, so it's really hard. Like, there's not a handwritten rule about that to help determine that.
Right. So there's not that. And so for me, if you're asking me right now on April 1st what the future of 6A is, I think they're going to look into that Division III seriously, and I think they're going to ask coaches about it and say, coaches and superintendents and athletic directors and say, do you want this? Would this be something that you would like?
Do you think it'd be kind of a either-or thing, or is like the proposed 7A or Division III?
I mean, okay, to be honest, if you're...
I think it would be. I think it would be either or.
That way?
Yeah. Now, the UIL has mentioned, we like, it was kind of shocking at the last coaching school.
Yeah, it was they said next realignment they'll start looking into like
7A. They said the phrase, which is something that we as idiots like to banty about
right.
around, like, oh man, look at this, wouldn't it be fun? Like they acknowledge, like, oh, here's something. That was the first time they'd ever said the word 7A. Mm-hmm. We'll see if that ends up coming.
They haven't pulled coaches, so that's why.
Yeah,
like playing devil's advocate here, though, just because you put the term 7A on it, or just because you put the term Division III on it, is there a difference? Like fundamentally speaking,
there would be if depending on how it's broken up.
That just sounds like a title change to me.
But at 7A, if what you did depends on what 7A looks like. Like if you're just taking 7A and you're taking the top 25% of the, I think 7A would be smaller. Like I think it would be because they would want to. The larger 7A is, the less it's going to solve, because then that means, oh, you're still going to have Allen with 7,000 and a team with 2,800. Yeah, and it's like, well, did we really fix anything at that point?
No, and that's what I just feel like regardless, you're going to split it into 3. You're going to add another classification. Maybe. So that just seems like a different title.
Maybe,
like it doesn't seem like it's any different.
But here's the question: let's say you split off 7A.
Yeah. Do
you still have 4 teams make the playoffs in 6A?
Yeah. I mean,
you know what I mean? So then what you are doing is you are adding an additional, you're adding additional playoff teams. Mm-hmm. So there would be fundamental shifts there. If you were to go,
but it would be the same thing if you did Division III.
It wouldn't, though, because you would still have 4 playoff teams going in. Do you know what I'm saying? You would be adding, let's say, 16 more playoff teams or 32 more playoff teams. Mm-hmm. That would be one thing. That would so it is not just, I know what you're saying, but it's not just semantics.
But wouldn't you, if you just split it in Division III, wouldn't you still have a Division III state championship game?
Of course you would.
So then you would have to split them off into playoff teams, correct?
Yes, you would. But what I'm saying is that if you were to create a 7A, 6A would still exist, and you would probably have them still play by the rules of just instead of. You're taking one group of 250 schools, which are presently 6A, and you're splitting them one into 7A, and then you're keeping the rest of them into 6A. You would have 5 playoff teams: 7A, 6A, 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 6A. Right?
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? So if you were to go with the division split and you go Division III, you could still have it so there's only 4 playoff teams out of that group. Does that make sense? Maybe I'm not explaining it well.
Fundamentally, I feel like, regardless, you're going from 2 divisions to 3 divisions, so you can slap whatever title you want on there.
You are, but to me, what matters is the number of teams that are
in the playoffs.
In the playoffs. So right now, what you would do is right now, if you wanted to go 7A, you would be taking the present group that constitutes 6A, and you'd be giving them 5. You'd be giving them, that number divided by 5, I would say, as opposed to that number divided by 4. That's all I'm saying. So there is, it all depends on how they want to draw it up, but I would say that Division III would make it so you keep the same number of teams that make the playoffs, and you figure things out along the way. Does that make sense?
So what we're saying is,
I don't know. The UIL's got a lot of decisions to make, because I think that there's increasing pressure on them, because I think that you are seeing, let's be honest. Let's look at the last few 6A Division I state championship games, okay? Duncanville and North Shore. Both, I believe, over 4,000 kids.
Yep.
Okay? 2020 was who played in the 6A Division I title game? It was Westlake, and they beat South Lake Carroll. That would be one that is an exception because Westlake was a smaller team. We were thinking about whether or not they could go Division I, Division II.
Hayes kicked them.
Yeah, Hayes kicked them out, and Carroll theoretically had a chance, but it was just never going to happen.
And then I watched Hayes get
2019, 2018
destroyed.
2018, 2019 were Duncanville and North Shore, both mega schools. 2017 was that Allen? Is that Allen Lake Travis?
Yes.
Allen's definitely a mega school. Lake Travis is a certified Division I team.
Yeah.
So you are starting to see this little bit of separation with some schools, and maybe part of it is that Duncanville and North Shore have been so dominant recently. Mm-hmm. But you are starting to see that, and I wonder if there's increasing pressure on the UIL to do something because that gap between the top end of 6A and the bottom end of 6A is growing wider, and I don't know. And because it's not evenly distributed across the state. There's a very confusing, convoluted discussion about 7A. Do we have any other questions?
Poor guy asked one question.
I know. And he's like,
and we said, let's blow up your entire spot.
Listen.
I like this question. It said, what's a subject, non-football, that you guys would love, or that you guys love that you wish the rest of us would check out? So something you like genuinely get enjoyment out of that is not football.
Oh, well, that's interesting. I don't know. I just sit around and read a lot, and I feel like I don't know.
Nerd.
I just,
probably anime.
Yeah, you were the one. It was you Instagramming about Attack on Titan that got me into Attack on Titan.
Yeah.
And Attack on Titan slaps.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know. I've tried to get into other ones, and I can't get into it, but for some reason,
fair.
like the Attack on Titan.
My brother
starts
loves
off
Attack
great.
on Titan.
It
Like-
starts off great.
like-
Attack on Titan, like the first couple
Yeah,
episodes.
it hooks you, and you're like, all right, I'm in. And then you get interested in the story, and then it's like, all right, let's kill some giants.
Right.
That one for me, like, that's I can see that being something.
Yeah.
I mean, I love baseball, and baseball is lame. So, like, I'd love for you guys to get into that.
Yeah.
I guess, one thing we could talk about is what we're all doing. We're all getting together on Sunday.
Oh, yeah.
We are all getting together on Sunday, and we are going to go out to Arlington for a sports entertainment event.
Yes.
Theoretically.
We're going. No, it's definitely a sports entertainment event. We're going to
More
WrestleMania.
Yeah.
We're going to WrestleMania. Shout out to our buddy, the great Matt Wilson.
Yes.
At Arlington for hooking us up.
The governor of
The governor of Arlington.
Governor.
That's not how it works, but he's still
But it is.
He's the governor of
He is.
But we are very excited about that, and I know that is something I've tried to get back into. I had a wrestling phase in when like late '90s when it was just like I think when everybody had a wrestling phase because it was super hot.
Right.
I was a WCW guy. Dean Malenko is still my all-time favorite wrestler.
Nice.
And then I fell off because I don't know, it just didn't interest me anymore.
Right.
But you went to an AEW show recently,
Me and Craven.
and I've tried to get into it, and I got to be honest, I'm into it. I don't know a ton about WWE. I don't follow it very closely. You've kind of explained to me what's going on.
I mean, I don't follow. I follow a lot of friends who watch WWE closely, more closely than I do. But I'm definitely all AEW right now.
So maybe wrestling is the answer.
Yeah.
Wrestling's fun. Soccer's fun too.
Go see an indie event. I'll put that out there. There are tons of. Texas is a great state for indie wrestling, and so like Dallas, Austin, kind of that out there for our corridor, like even down to the Valley, they have great indie promotions. Tickets are like usually $10-15.
Speaking of the Valley, you know who I think
there.
who is up here for WrestleMania? Oh my God, I just blanked on his name. Hang on.
Alex Del Barrio?
Yes.
Yeah. He used to be an announcer.
Yeah, I was about to say, yeah.
Yeah.
He had a swim through WWE.
I think he
as
was
an
at
announcer.
the whatever comic thing that we were looking at yesterday.
WrestleCon.
Oh, WrestleCon.
Yeah, WrestleCon.
Yeah.
Con,
We can meet
con.
we could go and meet our good friend, our close personal friend Dan
Yeah.
Housen right
He
now.
did like one of your tweets.
Oh, well, he's very nice and very evil.
My answer to the original question, and this sounds basic, but I'm huge.
Fishing.
Well, okay, yeah, that's a good one. I'm a huge music person, like someone who can legitimately sit there and hold like good music conversation, and I'm talking like outside of pop music. Like that's something that I get a genuine enjoyment out of.
I think I've realized.
Because I would rather listen to music than watch TV. To be totally honest with you.
I think I've realized that I'm not smart enough to really understand music. Like I just listen to it and it's like it sounds good and I like it, or it doesn't sound good and I don't like it, and I can't really dig into it any farther than that. And like, but I mean, I like listening to music. Like, I don't know. Are there people who are like, oh, music? I'm not like that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I listen to what I like and what sounds good and what appeals to me. And like, I don't really dig any deeper than that.
See, I
know both of you guys are closer to audiophiles than I am, I would say.
Yeah.
That's fair.
So.
I was thinking to say, like, that's you want to talk like a love language, like sending, like people sending me songs like, hey, you should listen to this. I think you would like that. Like, that's peak for me. I get enjoyment out of it.
There's a song by a Serbian pop star.
Oh, gosh, stop. That's actually the song that probably gets sent to me the most.
Yeah, that's probably true. Yeah, I don't know. I've thought about that for a while, and I think I've given up on that. There was a time where I was like, man, I'm just going to really get into music. And I think you have to start that at a young age. I think I've realized.
Yeah,
I got into that.
Like, shout out Trish and LP, because that was a bit, like, you know how big of a concert person I am too.
Yeah, because that's the thing. Okay, did your folks in your house growing up? What type of music was being played? Like, was it current music? Because my dad, like, the only thing I listened to was like my dad would turn on like the classic rock station, and like that's really all we listened to.
R&B, hip hop, current stuff. Yeah.
So you were listening to current stuff.
Yeah. And that was my mom and my dad. With my grandparents, my grandfather was a huge soul guy, and so like anything from like anything from that era was always.
My dad and mom, huge 80s fans, so a lot of 80s music. But my grandfather on my dad's side, I never got to meet him, but he had an unbelievable record collection, and we had this unbelievable system. I wish we wouldn't have sold it, but we did. And so a bunch of old school country albums. And so my dad used to pick, like, we would always at night put on a record and then dance around the living room and stuff like that. And so I like collecting records now. So I think that's it definitely started at a young age.
Yeah, for me, like, we just didn't have, like current music playing in my house whenever we were growing up, and I think that's part of it. Like, basically, I didn't really get into music till I was in high school, and I was, and I would like listen to like the alternative rock station.
Sure,
like that was the first time I was like, oh, there's like new music that I can listen to and stuff like that. Like, you know, that's really when I got into it, and it's like, I don't know, I still like it, but I think also all of that explains me being too dumb to understand music. Also explains why I like a lot of different music. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh, that sounds good. I'm just going to listen to that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I like rap, and I like country, and I like rock, and I like all that fun stuff. Like, it's like, okay. And I also think that with like the advent of the internet, one of the things is I think fewer people are like, this is my style of music, and this is what I listen to.
Right.
Like, the only thing I listen to. I think people have a lot more diverse music taste just because they're exposed to more of it now. You know? Because in high school, and I'm sure you guys were the same way, maybe you weren't, you're extremely young, but
I am not.
but like, you would have people be like, oh, what do you listen to? It's like, oh, I listen to country music. It's like, oh, did you hear this new song by so and so hip hop art? Did you pick up the new whatever album, the new Eminem album? Be like, no, I don't do that. I listen to country music.
Right.
I just don't think that exists anymore, or at least in fewer places.
It's definitely not the norm anymore.
Well, yeah. Well, the technology makes that easier too. You're not having to go out and buy specific CDs of what you want to listen to. You can literally go on Spotify and it'll like play the radio.
Yeah.
That's the other thing that I feel like has really made the transition in music of. On Spotify, you can sit there and listen to something and just type in, like, I like this artist, here's their radio, and it introduces you to everything else.
Yes, I think that's exactly right. And so that, to me, is the biggest transition in my musical life, is, like, I just think you can be exposed to more. And you can realize, oh, wow, here's this music from, like, I think K-pop's a perfect example of that explosion. Of, like, if this were 15 years ago, nobody listening to this or watching this show would have any idea what K-pop was.
Right.
And now you listen, you're like, that stuff kind of slaps.
Yeah. Gimme Chocolate comes on, and we're like,
yeah, exactly.
Let's go.
Anyway, there's music talk.
Well, that was J-pop. Or, no, what was it?
That's J something.
J-metal, yeah.
J-metal, stuff like that. Yeah. Okay. Do we have one more question?
No, but I just got a text from our dear friend Malpal. And she said, there's a Roadrunner in our parking lot. I sent you a video. So she's really, really hyped about a Roadrunner in our parking lot. That's my final thought.
Wow. You know what? Big things going for UTSA. I got to be honest. Like that, the first thing that strikes me is like, all right, UTSA on the rise. big UTSA gal is Mel Powell. All right, that's going to do it for us. Thanks for spending a little bit of your day with us on this show ostensibly about football in Texas.
That was a wild show.
Follow us on Twitter at DCTF. Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/Dave Campbells. Follow us on Instagram, instagram.com/Dave Campbells. And, of course, see us at textfootball.com. Ish, thanks.
No,
I said thanks.
Oh, I thought you said, do you have any thanks? Okay.
No.
Well,
thanks. Go USA.
You're welcome.
For Ashley Pickle, I'm Greg Tepper. Vince Young, please meet your Player of the Year trophy. I promise you will prepare better. Oh, we might have a big in-studio guest on Monday. Texas Football today.